Okay, so we're talking about Rabbi Nachman's amazing gift to us of Hitbodidut, of this old, new way of connecting with Hashem. And so we spoke about last time, and just to review very quickly, the three elements of Hitbodidut. What are we doing during Hitbodidut? What are we doing in just this random, this natural speaking to God in our own language, in our own time, in our own way. And the three aspects we spoke about is number one, that is the epitome of tefillah, and that is the part of Hitbodidut, which is the gratitude. Okay, which is this is the time that to go through what is it that we appreciate, and to relate that appreciation to God. Okay, meaning that like in meditation in general, so even the secular world knows that gratitude is an important way of life. It's an important way of improving your mental health, and like they call it the attitude of gratitude. And if you're in a attitude of gratitude, then you're just focusing on the good, and if you're focusing on the good, then you're going to be in a better mood. So like it's really a self-help. Just to be able to focus on gratitude is just makes your life better. But so I was on speaking to a student of mine that we practiced this meditation of gratitude, and I asked her like a simple question, like, who are you thankful to? Like to Shalom. That to who is this gratitude? And so she said, wow, I never thought that. Like that's like I don't know. Like I guess it's to the universe. To have this gratitude, and to have a gratitude that is directed towards the source of the one to whom you are grateful. So that actually is much more powerful, because like if you're just having gratitude just for the sake of gratitude, so it's very powerful in the sense that you're able to focus on the good, but it doesn't bring you to the level that Rabbi Nachman is talking about, that gratitude can bring you to bitul, to that nullification, to negation, to that I am simply part of something bigger. Okay, and that is the ultimate point of gratitude. That's why that in halacha, so when we say Maidim, Shemana Esrei, so what do? We bow down. Okay, bowing down is a personification, is actualizing this feeling of nullification, of bitul. Okay, it's a very powerful thing. Like if you think about it, that in tefillah, so there's different things that the actions can actually be used as life hacks to do physical things actually changes our mindset. Like for example, two things that are brought down in halacha. They're brought down in Torah. Like first of all, that it says that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was davening during Milchemas Amalek, so what did he do? He raised his hands, prayed. Okay, that when his hands were up, so then then he was praying, and so we see from Moshe Rabbeinu that and then he got tired, he needed help, and the Aaron and Chor, so he stood and he held up his hands, but it was necessary to reach out, and that was the prayer, was that his hands reached out. Okay, so the Torah tells us that is a proper physical way of davening. Okay, to have your hands reach out. So anybody who tries this, like it's like do it when you're just by yourself. Don't there's it's awkward. Yes, it's awkward to do this in public. Don't do it in public. That if you're if you do it in public, then people will think that you're weird. They'll think that you're Breslev. They'll think you're like that. And so don't do it in public. Do it when nobody's looking, and you'll see that it's actually a very powerful tool to change the way that when you are holding your hands out, so then you are reaching out to above. Okay, and the act is that I'm trying to reach high, because I'm trying to reach out to the above. And so what does it do to your psychology? What does it do to your brain? It puts your brain in the mindset of that I am in need, and I know that my help can come from above. Okay, so yeah.
And like Christians do that when they pray. Like a lot of these evangelical churches, the whole time they're just like this with their hands in the air, and and like everyone's doing it.
Okay. What?
It's the same reason.
Okay, so this.
Also, like yourself as to say like, I'm here, free, I'm here,
Mhm.
Hashem, like, fill me up.
No, he's saying that it's a Christian thing.
And I don't think it's Christian.
What?
I don't know if it's a Christian
Yeah.
thing, but they definitely do
Well,
it when
they
they
yeah,
pray.
do it.
Okay, speaking of evangelicals, so I just heard that on the end of Tacoma Street, right next to my house, 20 seconds from my house, so some evangelical missionaries just moved in. Okay, so if anybody,
Well, welcome gift.
but,
Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
So what? So
How
essentially,
did
yeah.
they figure that? How did they figure? How did they?
No, so what's hilarious is that right across the street from them, right, like literally like a meter away from them, is a guy that he's a convert that what's his name, Sanders, right? So a guy that he was an evangelical missionary and then he converted and he became a Jewish rabbi. So like Hashem, maybe Hashem has like a plan to just like to fix them, and so He gave them this good neighbor that like my wife told me that like that she randomly saw like outside their house, like outside their apartment, he saw like this like Christian book that they were like pamphlet or something, and the next time she passed by, it wasn't there anymore. So.
Wait, so your wife discovered their?
So a different neighbors texted my wife that it was like to tell me whatever. Anyway, so speaking of evangelical, so it's okay. Like the fact that they stole it from us, we don't do this. We don't do this like in general, but to do it like a little bit, like it has a positive effect on our psyche, like on our mental state. Okay, so that's number one. And the what was talking about? What? So the reason why the Torah, thank you. So the reason why halacha tells us to bow down during Maidim is because the act of bowing down during Maidim, it affects your mental state. So when you're bowing down, so what are you feeling? You're feeling helpless. You're feeling that I am nothing. Yeah? And what?
Humility.
You're feeling it's more than humility. It's nothingness. It's bitul. Okay, what's in Hasidus is called bitul, and it's that I am nothing, I am powerless, and I am negating myself to God. Okay? And that's what bowing, that's what hoda'ah is all about. So this is what Rabbi Nachman says, that what we're able to achieve through Hitbodidut is we're able to become something bigger. We're able to become part of God, and the way that we become part of God is through bitul. Okay? And that's why the first part of Hitbodidut is appreciation, is gratitude, and because through gratitude, so we allow ourselves to become muvutal to the source of our benefactor, which is God, and so it actually makes us bigger, because before we were just us, and now that we're nothing, so because we're nothing, we're something. Because we're nothing, we're something. Because we're nothing, because we're part of something greater, so then we're actually godly. We're actually a little bit infinite. Okay, so this is the. It's actually related to last week's parsha, that in like on the point of humility. So the Gemara says a very fascinating thing. The Gemara says in Chulin that Gadol Mashanema be'Moshe miMashanema be'Avram, that the Moshe Rabbeinu had a greater level than Avram Avinu, because Avram says V'anochi Afar Va'efer, that I'm like dust and ashes. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, "V'nachnu ma," that, and like this is in Parshas Karach. So he says, "V'nachnu ma kisaleinu aleinu," that what are we? What are we that you're complaining against me? That you're jealous of me? So Moshe Rabbeinu says, "V'nachnu ma," that what am I? I'm nothing. Okay, what does it mean? I'm nothing. So the Gemara says that if it says nothing, it means that I'm less than Afar V'Efer. I'm less than dust and ashes. So I saw once a beautiful thing by the Shalom Rabba, that Shalom Rabba says that, like, what's the Gemara say? What's this mean? Like it seems like it seems silly. Like Avram said that I'm dust and ashes, and Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm not even dust and ashes. I'm so small. Avram, who do you think you are? You're some big shot that you think you're dust and ashes. I'm not even dust and ashes. Okay. It seems messed up, right? So the Son of Rabbi says that by the way, okay, I'll tell you after. So the Son Rebbe says that what it means is like this, that when the Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu is greater than Avraham Avinu, so what it means is that there's two approaches to humility. Okay, what it means is that the first approach to humility is having a low self-esteem. Okay, and that was Avraham Avinu. When Avraham Avinu said "V'nacha efer v'efer," that I'm like dust and ashes, what he means is that I actually look at myself as like unworthy. I actually look at myself like I'm actually a nothing. I'm actually a failure. I'm actually worse than everybody else. That like I wish I could be as good as everybody else. Everybody else is making in life, and I'm actually I'm just a low achiever. That's really what I am. Okay, so that's one level. That's one level of humility. The person to have a low self-esteem. And what the Gemara means to say that Moshe Rabbeinu was bigger than Avraham Avinu, what it meant to say is that Moshe Rabbeinu actually had a different approach in Anava, a different approach in humility, and the Gemara is telling us that we should aspire to the approach of Moshe Rabbeinu and not to the approach of Avraham Avinu. So what is that? So he explains that if you have let's say a very expensive wine, $400. That's a good price for, yeah. Okay, you have a $400 bottle of wine, and you take this $400 bottle of wine and you pour it into the ocean. Okay, so what happened? What happened to this $400 bottle of wine? Okay, so on the one hand, so it lost its value. It lost it's no longer, nobody's going to pay $400 for it anymore, right? But on the other hand, it became part of the ocean. Okay, so now it's when the ocean is like, how much did the ocean? If I want to buy the ocean, how much did the ocean cost? Okay, it's priceless. You can't buy the ocean because the ocean is just so great. It's so awesome. It's so huge that it's impossible to buy the ocean, and it's so impossible that it's actually priceless. So when you took this $400 bottle of wine, you poured it into the ocean. So the wine, it's not that it became bad, it's that it became infinite. Okay, so when you ask this little molecule of what used to be $400 wine, like, what are you right now? So he'll tell you, like, I can't tell you what I am. I'm just greater than any definition. Okay, I have no price anymore. I have, like, how big am I exactly? How deep am I exactly? Actually, we do know actually how, like, we do know how deep the ocean is. Do you know? No, it's almost 11 kilometers. But that's actually relatively new. Only in the 80s that they developed the technology to be able to know how deep the ocean actually is. So that I'm infinitely vast, I'm infinitely great, I'm infinitely deep, but because I became part of something greater, so I lost my sense of self, I lost my sense of ego, but through losing my sense of ego, I actually became part of something much greater. I became infinite. Okay, so that was the mindset of Moshe Rabbeinu. That Moshe Rabbeinu, he looked at himself as part of infinity, as part of God, as part. I am absolutely nothing. I'm simply a function of the infinite, and therefore I don't have any sense of self. And that's why that's what it means that Moshe Rabbeinu was Anav Mikol Adam, that he was the most humble person that ever lived. It's because he looked at something as something powerful, as something infinite, as something endless. So that's why when we're being mevatel ourselves, the purpose of bitul, and it's a high level of spirituality to attain this level of bitul, and we're not supposed to do it. This is the level that we're supposed to be aspiring to for twice a day. Okay, when we say Shema, so we say that Hashem Echad, we say that Hashem is one, but the Chazal tell us that when we say that God is one, when we say that Hashem is Hashem Echad, it's not just that there's one God, there's not two gods. So in Kabbalah it says, in Chassidus it says that when we're saying Hashem Echad, what we're really saying is that Ein Od Milvado, that there is nothing else, that everything is really God, and therefore, what do we do when we say Shema? We close our eyes. Okay, so by closing our eyes, what we're really saying when we're saying that Hashem Echad, we're saying that there is nothing else, that I don't exist. Okay, like closing my eyes, that there is no world, there is no me. That is, it's just part of this great ocean of existence, and I'm just floating through this ocean of existence called God, and that is the true kavanah of Hashem Echad. And so to be in this mindset of Hashem Echad, so it's hard to live life. And that's why something that, like, this is a mindset that we have to just be touch and go with this mindset, and that we're meant to connect to this mindset twice a day when we say Hashem Echad, and we're supposed to close our eyes. We're not supposed to be part of the world, and then we're supposed to land. Then we're supposed to be part of life. Then, because if I'm nothing, so how am I supposed to have a job? How am I supposed to get married? How am I supposed to do my stuff? So that's why it's important to be able to have this home base that I am absolutely nothing. And that's exactly what Rabbi Nachman said about Hitbodidut, that Hitbodidut is something it's important to have for an hour a day. Okay, that was his aspiration. You should have for an hour a day. And but the rest of the day, whatever the rest of your day is, if it's 23 hours, if it's 23 hours and 55 minutes, whether it's 23 hours and 59 minutes and 50 seconds, whatever the rest of the day is, but the rest of the day, you should not be in this state of Hitbodidut, okay? Because the Torah recognized that you need to live your life, but there needs to be this home base. There needs to be this recharge. There needs to be this place that you realize that the real truth is that I don't exist. That I am part of something infinite. And that is the bitul that Rabbi Nachman is talking about. That this is what he calls this is what he's talking about when he says that the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says that if you do Hitbodidut, you're mitchayev benafsho, which he explains to me that you become mechuyev hametzias. You become something. You become real. You become as real as God. Okay, and that's how he interprets. That's how he interprets Hitbodidut. That's how he interprets the bitul. And that's the first element of Hitbodidut, of gratitude. Okay. The second element of Hitbodidut that we spoke about is the idea of cheshbon nefesh. And this is he brought the midrash that it says that kishiyesh din lamata and din lamala, and that a person is expected to go through all the aspects of their life, like that when you're talking to God, so like be honest, be be real with God, and it's a time to make an accounting that, like, I know that it's not okay that I wake up at 3 p.m. every day. I know it's not okay that whatever, but the all the things that I mess up in life, to go through those things and to be real with God, to be real with ourselves, and to make an accounting, and to figure out, like, where am I going with my life, like that this is like how would I like to be, what is changeable, what's not changeable, that God give me the power to change the things that I could change. Not the power, the strength to change the things that I could change, and the serenity.
Courage to change the things I can and wisdom.
No, before the wisdom. The serenity, I know that. The serenity, that's why it's called the serenity. Why do you call it the serenity prayer, if that's only 1/3 of it? You should call it the wisdom prayer, you should call it the courage prayer. Right? Yeah. So the serenity to accept the things I can't change, and the wisdom to discern between the two. And so, like, to know that, I remember like that before I knew what 12 steps was, before I knew what serenity prayer was. So when I was 18 years old, and I was very depressed, and a friend of mine asked me how am I doing, and I said I'm really depressed. So he asked me why am I depressed. This was a Tuesday night at 2:30 a.m. outside the Mir Yeshiva. So he asked me why I'm depressed. So I said, because I feel very stuck. I feel like I'm not going anywhere with my life. So he says, well, that's silly. Why how could you not be going anywhere with your life? If it's something you can change, so change it. And it's something that you can't change, so why are you depressed? You can't change it. So there's no way to be depressed. Manavshach. What? I'm not sure if you're making fun of him, but I was dancing. when he told me this, I was literally dancing. Like, that was like the yeshivish way of saying the Serenity Prayer. But like Manashach, if it's something you can change, so change it.
No, I'm
And
saying
if you
I
can't
liked-
change it,
I liked what he
so
said.
don't be depressed. Like you can, it was like that was the first time I read this Serenity Prayer, and this is the point of Cheshbon Nefesh. I was literally dancing. I was so like, it was the first time that I heard this, and it was just yeah, like I think 18 is a decent age to learn this, and I think his name is Shmuley Shapiro.
You should call that guy.
I should call him. Yeah.
Maybe he'll see
But
this
he
video.
for sure doesn't have WhatsApp. He was like, the last night, like, yeah. Labiyot. He was a funny guy. He told me one night that, like, yeah, I just spoke to Rebbe Fall about, like, I don't understand, why do we need to get married? What's the point? It seems just such a pain. Just so yeah,
You got that after talking to a rabbi.
ponders of a 18-year-old yeshiva boys. Okay, so okay, I know how to find him. He lives in Bnei Brak. No, because another friend of mine that we were all friends at the time, so he probably knows how to find it. Anyway, so this is the Cheshbon Nefesh. This is the second part of Hitbodidut is Kishiyesh din lamata and din lamala, that Hashem wants us to be able to take account of our time, of our days, of our lives, and to try to figure out what are the parts of our life that we could improve, what are the parts of our life that we can't improve, and to discern between the two, and that's the second part, and just to be on top of ourselves. And tonight I want to focus on the third part of Hitbodidut, and that is the tikkun. The fact that Hitbodidut really, in its greatest form, is a way of simply healing us, of fixing us on every level. Okay, I'll share it with you. I'm not sure what you'll make with this. That I read this book. That it's a book of correspondence between a Breslov mashpia named Rav Erev Moshe Doron. That he's like, I like him. He's a good guy. He wrote like 20 books, and his books inspired me very much. I can even say that I perhaps that it's only because of him that I actually made it to become connected to Breslov, and so he has a book. One of his books that I loved very much is called Haleva Mayan, which is letters that he wrote to this boy that was struggling in yeshiva, and so he writes that in this correspondence, so this boy, so at one point he there's like some family friend that what he does is that I don't know. The word I'm going to say is that he reads palms, but that doesn't sound good. There's like that's what he does. He reads palms, and he sees the different things, and this is your lifeline, and this is your emotional line. The different different like lines in your palm. So like they see things in this, and so he had this friend, a family friend that did this, and he's like, and like he so he read his palm, and he saw that he had like a deep, that he was in the middle of a huge existential crisis, that like, what am I, like, where am I going? Do I believe in anything? And so the end of the story was that he became like a super Breslov guy, and then 2 years later. So he saw this family friend, and he read this, and he said, yeah, let me see, like I remember last time I saw you, you were very lost. Can I see your palm? So he showed him his palm, and he was looking at it, and he said, this is really, really weird. This is really, really weird. I have to take a picture of this, and so he took a picture, and he went, they had some kind of machine at home, some kind of laboratory at home, and 2 months, and a month later, so we sent him, I have to share this with you, because I've never seen such a thing in my entire career, that something you did, it changed your past. That, like, I see that I have the picture that I took last time, and I have the picture I took this time, and you must have done some serious soul work, because the things that I saw 2 years ago, they no longer exist. And so he knew, and he was the only one who knew, that what had changed between now and 2 years ago was that he had become Breslov, and he started doing Hitbodidut on a regular basis. And doing Hitbodidut not only healed his present and future, it healed his past. It took away retroactively this existential crisis that he saw in, and you can see your whole line, you can see your whole life in the palm, and like he saw the past, and he saw that the past had actually changed. Okay, so this is that when we're talking about this Hitbodidut as a healing. So we're talking about something that can not just give us clarity, it can actually just fix us in a very real way. So what is this healing? What is this healing that Hitbodidut is doing? So I want to talk about this on three levels. On three levels, how Hitbodidut is a healing. Number one, like from the simplest to the deepest. Okay, so number one. So this is something that actually, like we spoke about in the other class, that there's a concept in Chassidus, in Kabbalah, that Rabbi Nachman talks about, called Malchus Peh. Okay, Malchus Peh. What does it mean, Malchus Peh? This is a term which is taken from something called Psichas Eliyahu, which is a Kabbalistic teaching that is attributed to Eliyahu Navi. Okay, and then it's like Sfaradim say this before davening sometimes. That's why davening. That's why, like, if a Sephardi shul says that they're starting at 3:30, don't show up before 3:50, because they say a lot of stuff before they start davening. And one of these things that they say is that Psichas Eliyahu. So in the Psichas Eliyahu, so one of the things it talks about is it goes through the different midot, the different sfirot, and when it talks about the sfira of Malchus, so it calls it Malchus Peh. That Malchus Peh, Teresh Bal Peh Krinan Beit. That, so it talks about Malchus as having to do with kingship, as having to do with the mouth. That through the mouth a person attains kingship. Okay, what does it mean that a person is a king? A person attains power through their mouth. Okay, so what does it mean, Malchus Peh? So on a very simple level. So when I talk about something, so I am able to control it. Before I talk about something, so when there's a certain issue that's going on, so the issue controls me, and by the means of talking, so I control it. Okay? So this is the very basic idea of therapy. Okay, and on this level, so you don't need a therapist, you certainly don't need a rebbe, and on this level, so really any friend can be a therapist for you. That by Malchus Peh on a very simple level is that I have somebody that I can talk through my issues with, so then I am controlling it. Okay, and it's something that is controlling me, that's taking control of my life, that I can't sleep at night. Like a friend of mine was telling me yesterday that on a regular basis he's just up until 4 a.m. because of his his issue that's going on. So if you have somebody to talk to, so then the issue doesn't control you anymore. Okay, so this is on a very simple level. What Malchus Peh means, that simply having this hour, that if I know that I have like a therapist to talk to or a friend to talk to, so then I don't need to stress the whole day. Like I don't need to be so uptight. I don't need to be losing sleep over something, because I know that, okay, I'll deal with this with my therapist. So I know that I have this home, this safe space. I know that I have this holy space. I know that I have this free space that I can just put all of my anxiety there, so I don't have to forget about it the whole 24/7, because I know that I have this time that it's being taken care of. Okay, sometimes people can take this to a bad place. That it's under control. Things I don't have to work about my issues because it's under control. But more often than not, it's a good thing. that the fact that I'm not stressing about this 24/7, and when I say 24/7, I mean literally. Like people that have some stress in their life can literally stress about it 24/7, and everything, and like whenever you talk to them, how are you doing? They don't stop talking about it, and they don't realize that their friends are avoiding them because they don't appreciate, they don't like having to deal with the fact that every time I talk to them, I have to hear about his stress, and they don't like that. Like you become just less fun, you become less interesting, less calm. It's just very detrimental to your life to be 24/7 stressing. So to have this time in my day, that this is my time that I'm gonna just stress. so it's a very helpful thing. Okay, and that's on a simple level. That's what Malchus Peh is all about. That taking control of my life, so that the rest of my time I can become. Okay, so on a very simple level. So that when I'm having this time to talk to Hashem about my issues, about the stuff that I'm going through, so the mere fact that I'm setting aside time to talk about it, so I am in control. Okay? So what does it mean I'm in control? That the fact that I can speak about it with anyone, this is even before it's God, even just before, and if it just to speak about it with anyone, so the fact that I can put my issue in a conversation, so then it's no longer so scary. Okay? Because if I can talk about it in concrete terms, so I'm already defining it, I'm giving it boundaries, I'm saying that this is the issue, this is the problem, and this is what bothers me, and this is what's hard for me. And so it's no longer just I can't function. Like there's just because this is an issue that I'm going through. This is my boss is causing me stress. So that doesn't mean that I can't have breakfast. You know? So just it gives it a perspective. Okay, it gives it a perspective that this is the issue, and this is why it bothers me, and this is how much it bothers me, and that just the ability to define it and give it boundaries, so this makes it less difficult. Okay, that's number one. Okay. Number two, the second element of Hitbodidut as a tikkun is that it's actually a meditation. Okay, this is when Rabbi Kaplan talks about Hitbodidut. So that's how he defines it. He calls it prayer meditation. And so by meditating, by having this time that I'm focusing on my issues and I'm meditating on my issues in the presence of this greater being, so it gives me all of the values, all of the perks of meditation. So why do people meditate? What is the thing? The meditation is like even doctors will prescribe meditation. They'll tell you that it would be good for, like, this is not meditation. It helps. It's proven clinically that it helps a person to lower their blood pressure. It helps them with their memory. It helps them with their cognitive skills. It's like on very practical levels. So meditation is helpful to our existence. Of course, it lowers stress. Of course, it lowers anxiety, and also it helps our self-awareness. It helps our self-image. It improves our positivity. It can help our sleeping patterns. It can just enhance our life in many different aspects. So this is what draws people to a meditation, and so when a person is doing this, the person is coming to Hitbodidut. So the fact that they are sitting on their issues and not being overwhelmed by them, and just giving it time, giving it space, and giving it perspective, and thinking about how to tackle it in a practical way, so that they get to themselves. It's a powerful meditation that is going to give them all of these perks in life. Okay, so the second value of Hitbodidut, besides being I don't want to call it therapy, but that it's better than therapy. But besides being just a way to speak out my issues, okay, so it also has the value of meditation. So on a practical level, so when I'm coming to Hitbodidut with different states of mind, so number one, I can come to God. I can come before God as being lost. Okay, so what is it when I'm feeling very lost? So I'm speaking about the fact that I'm lost, and so by speaking about the fact that I'm lost, so what is naturally going to happen? I'm going to think about why I'm lost. I'm going to think that where would I like to be? If I wouldn't be lost, where would I be? That what would be the direction that I would like to have? What is holding me back from getting that direction? And just speaking about it with myself, with God, so it's going to make me less lost. Okay? First of all, it's going to make me less lost, and even besides the fact it's making me less lost, it's going to make me less overwhelmed by the fact that I'm lost. Okay? Meaning, in any problem that I'm going to have, so there's the problem itself, and then there's the fact that the fact that because of that feeling, so then I can't deal with my life. Okay, so there's one. Sometimes a person's going to come to Hitbodidut, and they're going to have a feeling of being lost. They're going to have a feeling of frustration or anger. Okay, sometimes a person's going to come to Hitbodidut, and there's something is bothering. Someone is bothering them. Some situation is bothering them. And they're coming with a lot of anger. So we have two problems. We have the problem of the anger itself, the problem of frustration itself, and we have the fact that because I'm so frustrated, so I can't deal with life. Okay. There's sometimes coming that just a general feeling of I'm overwhelmed. Okay, just a feeling of there's too much going on. Okay, there's and this is a problem. Even if there's nothing particular that I'm angry about, it's nothing particular that's really upsetting me, but I have too many responsibilities, and I feel like I'm too young for this, and I feel like that this is too much for me, and this is just little things that are just overwhelming me. So speaking about the fact that I'm overwhelmed makes me less overwhelmed. Okay, so a person could come with a feeling of being worried. Okay, what's this called? This is anxiety. Okay, so I guess the first point of being overwhelmed, we would call that stress. Okay, and the being worried is we're going to call that anxiety. So just to come to present myself with a feeling of being worried, a feeling that I don't know what's going to be, that I'm scared of what's going to be, that I'm the feeling of being a failure, the feeling of certain repercussions that are going to be because what's going to happen when I don't pay my rent, what's going to happen when I fail out of school, what's going to happen when I get dumped, what's going to happen when everybody finds out that I'm really a fake. There's certain repercussions that are causing me fear because of the situation. So to present these feelings in a conversation, so they allow me to digest them, they allow me to analyze them, they allow me to that be less scared, and B, that because I'm dealing with the source of my fears, to be less overwhelmed by these fears. Okay, and the last way that I can come to before Hashem in Hitbodidut is a feeling of numbness. Okay, we talked about five different ways that we come, 5 different emotional problems that a person can bring to the Hitbodidut. Feeling of being lost, feeling of being frustrated, a feeling of being overwhelmed, a feeling of being worried, and a feeling of being numb. Okay, when a person is numb, so what are we going to call this in clinical terms? Apathetic is depressed. Right? Yeah, these are all forms of depression. Okay, so a person is coming that I feel apathetic, I feel dead, I feel numb, I feel that I don't care about anything. Okay, so So I'm bringing all of these different emotions. I'm bringing all of these feelings to my Hitbodidut. And what am I saying? I'm saying that I don't like feeling numb. Okay, I don't like feeling numb. I don't. I wish I could feel life. I wish I could be alive. I wish I could care, and so now, when we bring these feelings to the Hitbodidut, this is the difference between. This is the difference between meditation and Hitbodidut. This is what regular meditation and prayer meditation. That is that the difference in regular meditation. So I'm just observing these feelings. I'm just being aware of these feelings. And when I'm doing prayer meditation, I'm doing Hitbodidut, so that I'm bringing these feelings to someone that can actually fix them. Okay? And this is the difference between God and a therapist or a friend. Because a friend can say, yeah, that sucks. And that feels wonderful when a friend says, yeah, that sucks. Because someone that can relate to me, makes I feel like I'm crazy because so when my friend is affirming the fact that and validating my feelings, that's a wonderful thing. But the difference between my friend and Hashem is that, Hashem is also my friend, but the difference between Hashem and my friend is that Hashem can actually heal me. Okay, Hashem is the best therapist because he is able to really heal these ailments from the inside. And so there's meaning that in any of these emotions, we're talking about frustration. So there's the feeling of frustration. There's the fact that there's the reason why I'm frustrated, and there's also the piece inside of me that gets frustrated. So when I'm presenting my problems before Hashem, so Hashem has the power to do two things. First of all, he can do anything. So he can really get rid of the frustration itself. Okay? And that's really the next point, which is that Hitbodidut, besides being a therapy, besides being meditation, it's also an act of prayer. But even before that, so he can actually get rid of with the thing that my mother-in-law is getting on my nerves, whatever it is. So he can actually make my mother-in-law stop getting on my nerves. Hashem can do anything. He can make it that one day she'll stop being judgmental and whatever it is but there's another thing that Hashem can actually, and this is more what I was talking about in terms of the palm reading thing, that there's a piece of me that gets frustrated. Okay, and it's Hashem can, when we say that Hashem can do anything, we mean that Hashem can take that part of me that gets frustrated and just give it a sense of calm. Okay? He can change me to become a person that it's harder to get me frustrated. Okay? And this is something that you don't even have to, David HaMelech says, va'ani tefillah, that I am a prayer. So the Mefarshim say that sometimes you have a person that he asks you for money, and sometimes a person that he doesn't have to ask you for money. Just his entire existence screams that he needs money. And so when the David HaMelech says va'ani tefillah, he means that I am a prayer, that I don't even have to open up my mouth, and my entire existence is screaming that I need something. So when a person is coming before God with all of these different feelings, this feeling of being lost, feeling of being overwhelmed, feeling numb, feeling of dead, feeling of worried, so the act of coming before God, it is a prayer. I don't have to say, Hashem, could you please make me more alive? Because the fact that I'm saying, God, I feel so dead, that's saying that please make me alive. So Hashem has it in him to make us alive, to make us less worried, to make us less frustrated, to make us less overwhelmed. And so by coming before him, so he's actually fixing us. Okay? So this is the second element. The second element of Hitbodidut as a tikkun is that Hitbodidut is a meditation. But it's more than a meditation because it fixes the source of the issue, because God can do anything. So by bringing my issue, my psychological issue, by my emotional issue, before Hashem, and speaking about it. So that itself is an act of prayer, even before I get to the actual thing, and it's an act that can actually heal me and actually take care of this issue itself. Okay, so that's the second point. That the coming before before Hashem is actually an act that can actually fix me, that actually put me into a better place, and to summarize, so the first point was of the tikkun is that the first point is therapy, and the second point is meditation. Okay, so in the therapy, like in the therapy, there's something that I wanted to add on to the therapy point, that it's a very intense conversation.
Do you see it as like a replacement for therapy?
It could be. It could absolutely be a replacement for therapy. It could, if done properly, it can absolutely be. It's not a replacement for a rebbe. You always need a mentor. You need somebody who's guiding you. But it can certainly, and it's not this. I think I said it. No, I don't think I said in this class. It's certainly not a rep. It's certainly not it can't take the place of meds. It can't take the place of meds. I'm not saying that the person that if you do Hitbodidut, then you'll no longer be bipolar, you'll no longer be schizophrenic. That's not what I'm saying at all. Interestingly, I said this at a wedding last week. Yeah, last week. I said this at a wedding I met a psychiatrist at a wedding, and I was talking about that. I just started this course in a school called Rabbi Nachman and Mental Health, and I was talking to them, like one of the things that I said in that introductory class is that Chassidus will never be a substitute for meds, and he was actually not so sure about that. Like as a psychiatrist, he was saying that he thinks that a lot of psychiatrists are too quick to pull out meds, and he thinks that a lot of the reasons why people are taking meds could actually be taken care of by just Chassidus and meditation and Hitbodidut and etc. So okay, but in terms of like what I mean is that it certainly can't take the place of like when a person has a chemical imbalance, so that a real chemical imbalance, so Hitbodidut can never take care of that. And number two, what?
I mean, you said never?
Never. What? You want to disagree?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, based on what you said, Hashem could do anything.
Hashem could do anything, but I think that's called a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, a person that doesn't have a leg could totally daven that Hashem, please give me a leg.
Right.
But I think for a person who is bipolar to ask Hashem that he shouldn't be bipolar is the same thing as that. I think there's a guy.
I mean, yeah, I guess it also kind of depends on the level.
There was a Maggid. There's a Maggid that lived in Bnei Brak. His name was Yankel Galinsky. So he was very, very short. He was less than 5 feet tall. So one day he woke up. He woke up and he felt the end of the bed. He felt the end of his bed. So he said, Hashem, thank you. I can't believe it. I've been davening so long that you should make me taller, but I didn't really think that you were going to listen as well. Thank you. I can't. I don't know how to appreciate. I can't appreciate enough. And then, like in the middle of his tefillah, he realized that what happened was actually that he made a 90-degree turn. that he woke up like to the side of his bed. Right? So you're right. Hashem could do anything, but I think for a person who is bipolar, for a person who has like a serious chemical imbalance in his brain, so like to daven that he should that imbalance should become fixed is the same thing as davening that a guy that doesn't have a leg should have a leg. So like that, it's not the kind of thing that we daven for, right? So.
You're saying it can't, or it just might not happen? Mine doesn't have a leg. Could, if God wanted, regrow a leg, technically.
Right. It's just not the kinds of things that we deal with. Like if we don't even daven for such things.
You don't even daven for such things?
Isn't it?
You're
Isn't it?
supposed to daven for miracles.
Yeah.
Isn't it like more miraculous, like on our realm? Like for God, it doesn't make a difference. For God, it's like it's just like whatever thought it happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like for us, it's like, oh, we'll cure my depression, right? But not my growing back of a leg because that's a big deal.
No, depression it could help.
I know.
For
that's what
depression,
I'm saying.
his this could take care of depression. It can't.
100%.
I was talking about bipolar. I was talking about something a chemical imbalance.
Okay, so let's
Or
say
a clinical
it can
depression,
cure
like-
depression, but not bipolar because bipolar is a chemical imbalance,
Right.
and depression is not.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it in God's realm?
Some depressions.
One not harder than other.
Mm-hmm.
But like one's not a bigger deal than like for us. It's like, oh, we can't do this.
You're no, of course, like that, no. Hashem could do anything,
Yeah.
but generally he doesn't, and for whatever reason,
Makes sense from experience.
he doesn't do miracles. He doesn't do miracles in general.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay, so the first it's not going to be a substitute for meds. It's not going to be a substitute for a mentor, but it could be a substitute for a therapist. Okay, so the first thing we spoke about is that it's a kind of therapy. Okay, so in the kind of therapy, so what are we doing in the therapy of Hitbodidut? So we're asking in this conversation, we're talking to God. So one of the questions that we need to ask in this Hitbodidut is that what do you want me to learn from this? Okay, and the second question is that we have to ask Hashem in this Hitbodidut, in this conversation, is that how do you want me to deal with this? Okay, so in this sense, so by having this conversation with God of what do you want me to learn from this, and how do you want me to deal with this, so it's really a therapist / life coach. That Hashem is becoming our mentor in the sense that He's helping us, giving us ideas, giving us inspiration of why this happened, and when in the what do you want me to learn from this? So that itself lowers a lot of the frustration. Okay, because a lot of the frustration in life is because of the chaos of life. When something seems random, when something seems unnecessary, when something seems like it wasn't supposed to be, so then that's what makes it so frustrating. And when we understand something, so then we can deal with it. It's like emotionally, I mean, that knowing that something that was here for a reason, so makes it like, there's this joke, like it's really a story, but like I think it's a joke, that there was a guy that he had extremely ugly. He had the face that looked like a dog. People thought he looked like a dog. So like, and I remember like how he got read the shidduch, but like he got read this shidduch with this normal girl, and she said, no, how in the world how could you even think that I should marry this guy? He's the most ugliest person in the world. He has the face of a dog. So he said that it's okay if she refuses to go out with me, but he told the shadchan, like, ask her that I really beg of her that before she dumps me that I just have just 1 minute to speak to her. So she's like, feels bad for him, so she agrees. So she goes, so they have to speak, and they say, and he says to her, I just want to tell you something, that if you want to dump me, that's your prerogative, you can really dump me, but I just want to tell you a story. That before I came into this world, so Hashem showed me my zivug, and he showed me that, and I saw that my zivug had the face of a dog. And I said, Hashem, that's so sad. How's she going to go through life being so ugly? It's going to be so hard for her. Please, could you please make it that I could take it for her. And so and
It's
so
a smooth
and
line.
Right?
and so and so Hashem after enough begging, so Hashem acquiesced that I should be able to take that ugliness from my zivug. And I just want you to know before you dump me that zivug was you. Right. So that was my point. Like, so I don't really believe the story. That like I think that was just this, but like,
I believe it.
but yeah,
And she
Yes.
married
I
him?
think she,
and she married him, of course, and they lived happily ever after. But the
cute little
but the
bunny
point
kids.
but the point was that if you know to know why something, if you think about this poor girl. So on the one hand, she was thinking like, oh my gosh, like how could it be that I'm supposed to be stuck with such an ugly husband? But then knowing that the reason why I'm stuck with such an ugly husband is to save me from being so ugly. So that's beautiful. So every time that she looks at him, she's gonna just wanna hug him because she's having more appreciation for. So yeah. So back to Earth. So
it's a good memory too.
So to know, to understand why I'm going through something, i.e. what do you want me to learn from this? So to understand what I'm supposed to learn from this, that makes it more feasible. That makes it more deal withable, and so yes, that's a word. So that through this conversation of that, what do you want me to learn from this? So it makes it more feasible. It makes everything just easier. It takes away the stress from the issue. Okay, so this is in the element of therapy. Okay, so the first element of Hitbodidut, of tikkun, is the element of therapy. That it just speaking about it, it helps me get through the issues, it helps me deal with all of the difficulties. Number two, it's a meditation. It gives me all of the physical and emotional elements of meditation. It makes me in a better state of mind. It makes me more positive. It makes me have self-awareness. It makes me have better concentration. It improves all of my mindfulness. But the third and last point, which we'll speak about the least, is that it's also simply a prayer. Okay, and also the part of Hitbodidut is part of the tikkun of Hitbodidut is simply that Hashem can actually do anything. And Hashem can actually take care of all of my problems, and in this sense, so Hashem is simply fixing me on the greatest level. He's simply that when I'm talking to Hashem about all of my issues, so Hashem can simply take care of all my issues, and he can really just fix them. He can really fix them for me, and this is something that no therapist can actually fix my problems. No, I can complain to my therapist about the fact that I want to be married, but he can help me deal with it. He can help me embrace my being single. He can embrace the fact that it's okay. But Hashem, besides helping me embrace my being single, Hashem can also give me a shech. Right? So that's way better than a therapist, right? So Hashem can actually give me the jobs that I need, and he can also give me there's I saw this video once. My mother sent me this, that it was the purpose of the video was that as a reminder for when we started davening for rain, for v'tein talem atal haracha. So it was a clip from some movie that somebody sent her, that she sent me, that of some like Westerner that was approaching this Indian tribe, that they were doing some kind of dance of, and so he asked them, what are you doing? So we were praying to the gods for rain. So this Westerner, so he was like a philosopher, and he started saying that God doesn't give you rain. God is the one who gives you courage when you're feeling afraid. God gives you direction when you're feeling lost. God gives you meaning when you're feeling useless. God doesn't give you rain, and then like out of then like out of nowhere there was like this huge crack of lightning, and it started pouring rain, and he said, well, you know what? God can change his mind like that. So this is like that. It was a very powerful clip to me. That apparently it's a famous movie. I'm like I've said this before, and students have known what movie I'm talking about. But what's it called?
It's Gene Wilder. Now I can't remember.
Gene Wilder. Okay. So I mean that the first the Westerners' approach to God was that God is a meditation. Okay, and what he was learning from this experience is that besides God as being a meditation, so God can actually give me what I need, like so that he can actually fix it in a that actually live happily ever after, not just that I can deal with it with my like perspective, that like Hashem can actually give me exactly what I need. So this is the tikkun. This is the tikkun of Hitbodidut, and so really it's the most powerful thing in the world. It can really fix us on every level. It can fix our past, present, and future. It can help us with our emotional needs. It can save us a lot of money on therapy, and it can also get us the girl or the guy and the job and the whatever it is that we're like the career whatever it is the million YouTube followers and he can like whatever he can actually get it. Well, he can actually get us these things. So it's really fixing us on many ways. So Baruch Hashem, we're so fortunate to be able to have this, and the most important thing is to do it. Is to really do it. Like it's one thing to talk about it, but to really find time to do Hitbodidut. It will be the singular most life-changing thing that you will ever do. So just do it. Tada.